Hi, I'm Liz Granberg-Jerome from Gypsy Dreamer Quilts, and I'm here to show you some tips and tricks on making the New York block for the second Saturday sampler for Quilters Paradise in Baldwin City, Kansas. And this month, New York is this flag block, and it's pretty straightforward. It's got the stripes and it's got a single star, and that's what we'll be working on. When you're sewing strips, I sew them with each seam going in the opposite direction. So I've left my starting tails here so you can see. I started this one and sewed down, and then I added the second one and I flipped it over and I sewed back the other way. Especially when you're sewing larger strip sets, by sewing in opposite directions, you'll prevent your strip set from bowing. If you sew them all from the same end, you will eventually end up with a set of strips that are curved or bowed, and we don't want that to happen. So you're going to be making the large set, which after they're sewn together, you'll trim to size according to the pattern, and the same with the short set that are in the opposite colorway. Now, New York is a block that I found in EQ8, and I found it through the block library, the block base, that is based on Barbara Brackman's Encyclopedia of Pieced Quilt Patterns. And she has done the research and gives you the name and origin of thousands of blocks. And so it's just a great resource to pull from. There's even ways to edit the blocks once you get them in the program, so you can make it unique to what you want to do. But it's just a great resource that I find very useful. So for the star, the easy parts, of course, are you're cutting out your 3.5-inch squares. Those we can all do. This unit, referred to as a trirec or a triangle in a square, is a little bit different. It has several names. It's been referred to as a skinny flying geese or a Canadian flying geese, because it's the same as a flying geese in that it has a wing on each side, but instead of being a rectangle, it's all contained in the square. Your pattern will include templates. It has the base unit. It also has both the right angle and the left angle, but you only need to really work with one, because the way you're going to do this is you're going to fold your yellow in half, wrong sides together, and give it a press, and then you're going to use your template and line that edge up right on the edge of your fabric where you have both pieces. Turn this around so I can do it right-handed. And once you get that placed on, then if you put your ruler right on top of it along that straight edge, then you can use that as a guide to cut your pieces. Now, if you have rulers to do these, and a lot of people do, there's several different options. My favorite is the Easy Quilting Trirec Tools, and it has the triangle tool as well as the wing rec tool, and so you can use that. And I like this one because it has up to a 6.5-inch block, so you can make all different size units. The other set I've used is from Marty Michelle, set C, and she also has a set that has the two pieces, but they're only one size. So you would have to buy these to fit just a 3.5. It doesn't have multiple sizes like the Trirecs. And the third set that I've used in the past is a Quilt in a Day triangle in a square ruler set. And it's similar to the other two, only it has two sizes, whereas Marty Michelle's only has one. So you have options, or you can just use the template that's included with your pattern. So when you make these, I highly recommend that when you cut out your little template pieces, that you cut the edges where it's got little marks on it, so that it's not just squared off in the corners or just straight triangles. Those pieces are going to be your friend. As you start to sew these together, you're going to be placing the first wing on your triangle, and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch. If you don't trim those corners, you're going to have to make sure that you have a 1/4 inch sticking out at the end, so that your stitching starts at the 1/4 inch meeting place where it normally would start. And you're going to sew that and press it out just like you would for a flying geese. Then you're going to lay on and make sure you've got the right part and piece to go on the next side. And again, you're putting the skinny end of the side triangle even with the end of the big triangle. And the little piece is now sticking out at the end, and you'd stitch down this side. And when you open that up, then you've got this unit. And it's just like a flying geese. The stitching's going to cross at a 1/4 inch, so that when you do your 1/4 inch seam across, your point will be nice and sharp. So when you lay this out, you're laying out the center square, and you're going to be sewing with points towards, the blue points towards the center, so that that makes your star points coming out from that center. And one more. And that would make your star. You're going to sew 3 rows. So you'll sew this row, pressing the seams to the blue. When you sew the center row, press the seams to the yellow. And on the outer row, again, press the seams out to the single layer. And this will actually be useful because when you press the set that's going to go up next to it, we're pressing those to the center, to the red stripe. If these are pressed out to the blue, then your seams will nest when you sew these 2 rows together. And then you'll just add the long set below, and you'll have a complete New York block. I hope you have fun with this one. The Tri-Rec block is one of my favorites and does lots of interesting things, and in combination with half square triangles can make the illusion of curves in a quilt that doesn't have any curves sewn into it. So lots of fun things to learn and play with, and I'll see you next month.